Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello again, Andrew. You have been here before.
Guilty. I love being here.
We're gonna be doing more than we did last time. So for some of you that are just joining or are coming in on a recording, me and Andrew are doing lots of Neovim and Tmux stuff, and we're having a lot of the same conversations. And I think it's been almost a month or two. I can't remember exactly how long, but we worked on a Telescope plugin and learned a lot along the way. And I'm here to continue that work. So I can be honest, I haven't done too much on that plugin. I've been doing other projects and making other content. And so today we're going to explore more of that Smart Goto Telescope plugin. And so we'll give a couple of minutes perhaps to let people find their way here to join us tonight. And we're starting a little bit later than usual. But let me just check in with you. Have you done any Telescope plugin development, or I know you've been doing lots of Neovim stuff. How's it been going?
That's a good question. I haven't done any more Telescope stuff. I have been digging into I'm always changing things on the config. Recently was about to switch the Tmux bar to the top, which you have suggested in the past. So that's
nice.
my next thing I'm racing in my config. And then I've been digging into plugins specifically. So I have a cool little function that I saw TJ DeVries use in one of his streams, and so I'll share that because I think it's pretty nice to be able to print tables really quickly, and then I think that there's another one where we can reload a plugin really quickly as well. So that will probably help us in getting some fast feedback as well.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I learned how to use the debugging protocol, so I can do some basic run this function, use DAP to listen to data as it goes through. Yeah, but it's been a little while since I've done it, so we're going to see how successful that is for me later. But hello, people are coming in. Welcome. We've just started chatting and we're saying hello, and we're getting our feet grounded as we decide to step in here. So there's no time like the present. Do you want to jump into the project?
Let's do it.
All right, sweet. So we're going to let Andrew drive for a little while here. And so go ahead and get your screen share up, and we'll flip over to you.
Yep. Let me grab one more thing real quick. I changed the Tmux thing on one of my machines, and I haven't done it on this machine because it's hard to keep stuff in sync. All right, let's do this. All right. Yeah, let's move our dock over there. Nope. No. All right.
So the main thing right now is deciding, I guess, what's needed next. Getting a little bit better with this whole Lua development cycle for sure. I can only say that I've used it briefly, and I can tell that it's not quite there yet regarding like, it's not the thing I'm reaching for like every moment of every day, as I'm hoping it will be in the near future. Let's see, do I have it up now? I do. And so there's some gaps to fill for sure, and maybe we can find out from you. Are you ready? We're going to do a little screen share.
Let's do it. All right. I should, if we need to zoom in more, let me know. I zoomed in a little bit.
Let us know, chat. Yeah, it looks okay for me.
Sweet. All right. All right. We had telescope extensions. Yeah, we had this right here where we had the extension. What were the different names? Did
One
we
of
wanna keep up
them,
these?
one of them was just like a testing sample.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Look at that groove box. Yes,
It is. Yes.
a little groove box magic. All right. Yep, this is it. So we've got our harpoon results. We got our buffers. We've got our, and then we've got like a rip grep tool. I think that's the thing that's not been very consistent for me yet, is the rip grep solution.
Okay.
But you said that there's a potential path toward working with this rather more quickly, and so maybe we'll find out a way to start streamlining the dev cycle so that we can crank this a bit more.
I have there it was. This function. So this is one of them to be able to print. So I can say Lua P, and then so like vim.epi is a table, and then you can print that.
Cool.
See exactly what's going on. So that's a nice one to have to quickly inspect tables. Pro tip on how to inspect tables really quickly and not have to type more than one character.
Right, it's just there.
Just there. It's in the globals.
Print.
There's another one. It's like uses another like reload function that I don't have on this machine apparently.
That's all right.
But I think we can get by without it.
Cool.
So yeah, we have, I believe this was our test file where we were running everything. We have this function. I don't remember how we were running things. I think
so the function is the function at the bottom is what triggers it. So we can require this file directly or fire it. I mean, we could go back and rewatch our stream if we wanted. Right?
How did we do this?
How did we do this?
Yeah.
I guess all that matters is you find a way to map to it and run it. So if you want to see if it even shows you anything when you start it, you have to attach it to your telescope file config, right?
Yes.
You don't have to go that far if you don't want. Put in your dot files.
Yeah. So like we could go to not this telescope. This is where all my telescope stuff is. And
that's it.
You just
have to get it just right. It's called Smart Goto, and it's, where is it? If you go look at the repo, you'll see it. The instructions.
Oh, what am I doing here?
Looks like more people are jumping in, so I'm just going to say hi.
Good.
If you know us, just give us a quick wave. I like to know who's here. It's always fun to interact with all of you. I honestly, though, I've been streaming for a few months now, pretty consistently, and some people are like shamelessly like, "Oh, I'm just here to listen. I don't want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine.
Please don't look at me.
I'll just sit here and code by myself in public. That's fine." But
Everybody
we're glad
loves
you're
that.
here. I'm glad you're here either way.
Yes, we have this.
Yeah, so that's the idea. Just the dependency just ensures it's there before Telescope runs, and then 7 lines down. The Smart Goto is just the key you use when you load the extension. It's an underscore.
It's not
instead
underscore?
of a dash. I think it's an underscore. When you go to define the extension, or to load it, I should say. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, let me.
You got it there. Oh, interesting. What is happening? You have duplicate?
Yeah. It was
as an accident.
in the middle of copy paste tweak.
Sweet. Yep, that's it. I have had someone who was using AstroVim who ran into kind of an issue with this plugin. So there is some immediate pushback on the way in which it got scaffolded together to run. So I just want to acknowledge that, like, this is alpha. This is like pre-alpha. And I'm ready to put some more time into this for sure, but it's going to take a little while to get there.
Go to this way.
Yep. So once it's loaded, you can source this file, or you can just restart Vim and
do that,
or go to the other project, I guess, and then restart Vim.
Sweet.
And then for those that don't know, in the local directory, there's like a hidden local directory in your under your user on the hard drive. And Lazy stores all of the plugin source code there. So this could be something that you decide to fork, and then you could install your fork via Telescope instead, and it will automatically use Git to add it to the system, and then you can do development off of that directory versus cloning it in some other place and then finding some way to connect the dots. I have found it's easier to just go into the Lazy file, and you're using my session manager. So like you just need it to live there once. Bam. and then attach to that. And then anytime you want to do development on the plugin, you can revisit it by going back to that spot.
Mm-hmm. Love the
so that's my recommendation for developing if you're on lazy.invim plugin. It's good for anyone who uses lazy.invim. It's not a LazyVim specific thing.
All right, we have this. We have it returned. I don't have it hooked up to a key map yet.
Yep. So you just run Telescope and smart_goto, and it'll fire it as an X command. Yep. Okay. And it won't show up as a built-in, I don't think.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. So if I do,
but there may be autocomplete if you hit tab. What's up, Brainless Society? Glad you're here.
Hey, Brainless. He's a regular on my stream.
He's one of your guys. Yeah. Cool.
He loves very complex problems. Ooh. And Docker. Loves Docker.
Yes.
I don't see autocomplete out here. What am I missing?
Just write Telescope, capital T Telescope command. Oh, you're good, man. We love the discussion, so feel free to say whatever, and we're paying attention.
We are. Oh, I was on private chat. Yeah, that's why I can't see anything. Okay, cool.
You're like, no one's talking
Like,
to us.
who are these people you're talking
Who
about?
are these people? What's going on?
I thought I'd see telescope in here. What am I missing? Require telescope.
I don't do it that way. Just
How
get
do
rid
you
of
do
all
it?
of it in the command
Okay.
and do the capital T telescope space smart underscore goto, and it'll run it.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't think you'll get any. There you go. Yep. And so it auto completes. And expected number.
Okay. On utils, telescope utils. Yeah.
So this is the entry point, and we can find out if that's the same error that we saw before. So there's sort of a stability issue with this project so far. Unexpected Lua number. Is that what you saw?
That is.
Yeah. So I spent a fair amount of time getting it to work. And I didn't fix this specific issue.
Okay.
Expected Lua number. Invim wim get width. So there's something about we could probably just change the source code. If you want to open up the lazy source code and start hacking away at it.
Yep.
You probably could just add your repo as a remote, but I don't know if like when you make updates or anything, if lazy.invim like hijacks any of that stuff.
Okay.
If you decide you want to push any of the work we do.
Gotcha. Definitely do. My dogs sound excited.
I know. They've decided it's time to play.
Time to play.
Oh, it's time to play.
All right, if we go, you said you had probably not in this area, probably in the telescope config stuff.
Like I didn't identify that specific error yet.
Okay.
I spent a fair amount of time debugging. My guess is my telescope config has something that you and others don't have. Is my guess, which I thought was such a pain. I'm like, why is this the case? So we can spend a little bit of time looking at it, and I'll do some development here on my side. I'll put you over here, and I will pull up my project, Smart Goto. Yeah, because I
remember we pulled
mine's working. I have a layout config where I set the width and height. And I'm like, is that like something that has to happen?
Maybe.
In the way that I did it.
Where do you set that?
So, you would set it under telescope.
Oh, okay.
So your telescope options, the default options, you can add additional items. So like these are some of the values I've set.
Okay.
And I'll let others see it. It looks
layout
like
config
got cut off a little bit, but yeah, so it goes under defaults. And there is a layout config option, which
interesting.
I don't know if you have set at all.
I do not.
Yep. So if you want to copy and paste what I posted, you're welcome to. You can adjust these as you see fit, and we'll see for now if that's something it's expecting.
All right. So this goes under the defaults.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Oh. Everybody's okay. They just want to keep things interesting for the stream.
Oh yeah. They want their cameo.
They want that cameo. Well, one of the dogs is a little too big to be in my lap.
Which one's that?
Here's our Chihuahua. This is Millie.
Oh,
What's up, Millie? Say
hi,
hi.
Millie.
And Anna's down here thinking that she's missed out on all the fun. Hi.
Oh, look at me. My telescope looks like your telescope now.
Look at you.
All right, we were in picker. Right? Yeah, there it is. All right, so if I run this
Telescope Smart Goto. Yeah, let's like see if it works.
Does not work still, which I'm surprised by. I thought maybe that would work.
You would have to restart it.
I think I did.
Okay.
Let me just double check my.
It's always weird and tough because I'm like, my current setup works. Although I did get AstroVim. Was it AstroVim? Yeah, I have AstroVim running.
It's blowing up on picker 145. 145. Oh, that's just the function. Run the command, load the command. I wonder if there's a way. No, there's nothing in here.
We gotta love a good bug squash. I don't know if we're gonna lose. People are gonna be like, I don't want to fix a bug. I want to build a feature. But that's where we're at. Thanks for being patient for those that are hanging out with us. This is often kind of the weirdest, hardest part about learning a new system. So neither of us are like full-time Lua developers, and this is my first Neovim plugin ever.
Yep.
And it's on top of an existing system. Brainless has never seen a bug in his whole life. That's right. That's right. You are the god among us, apparently.
What about that Redis thing you were working on? We don't talk about that. Is this the same thing twice? Is it the same callback twice? Telescope Lua 107. I want more of a trace. Yeah, don't jinx your release there tomorrow.
But I know people are interested in trying to use this plugin, so you know what? I think I'm able to commit to getting this fixed by next stream. I think I've got a decent week that's freed up. I don't know if you guys had a good Halloween. I did. It was one of the busiest weeks of the whole year for me. I did all sorts of fun things with friends and family and all of that, and so I've been neglecting my open source projects a little bit. I actually have another I have a new Tmux plugin that I'm working on that I'm excited to share with people, but that's still under wraps. I gotta build some hype before that comes out, but we can switch. I mean, I can work on the project a little bit on my end, I guess, for some time, and we can just see how that goes.
Yeah, because I certainly don't want to get stuck here. I wish I gave us more details. It's just not giving us a window width. Yeah, if we want to switch, I can poke on this a little bit on the side. See if I can get it past that error.
Let's see, share screen. Little inception here. Let's get you out of the way. Bring this guy in. Yeah, so I mean, mine is working. Boom, Smart Goto. Like, it's doing what I expect it to. I was trying to rerun my AstroVim config. I was trying to figure out if like, I don't even think I have it working right now. Yeah, it's like, hey, I don't know what this is. So I don't remember. I did have it working before, and you'll even see here in my Astro that I've loaded the config in, and apparently conditionally, functionally, it's supposed to be injected like this using an abstraction. So AstroVim has a layer of abstraction between you and Telescope. And I was like, okay,
that's new.
If you
I haven't
say
seen that
so.
before.
So that was fun. Maybe they changed the way this works. I don't know. Do you like how my wallpaper matches
I do.
today's project? Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
that's the same thing.
Wes term? Wes term?
Yeah, we got a little Wes term magic today.
Love it. I may have to switch. I really want a background image, but I can't get it to look right with Kitty.
Yeah, so I'll probably... Oh.
There it is.
Not loaded.
That's not loaded, yeah.
So... Weird. Telescope straight up is like, nope, I'm not going to do it. So maybe there's some breaking change or some new thing in AstroVim that I'm not aware of. But I don't use AstroVim. It is nice to be able to
switch to and check.
Like use this as a separate config.
Yeah. Like that Neovim app name. That's super awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't even know why this isn't working anymore, but that's fine. We don't have to deal with that today. A little second brain action. We're just going to go ahead and kill everything. And we will Smart Goto. And we got our picker. We can all see okay.
Looks good on my end.
Sweet. So as of right now, you know, I have two harpoon results, and the harpoon results show up. And if I were to add a file that isn't a harpoon file, like the README, it will also show up. I'm definitely running into some issues where my smart thing is still cutting off the file.
Yeah.
But you can see here 2 hooks and a buffer. And I can't remember if any more branches live. There's no more stashes. I might have lost some work, to be honest, but that's okay. We'll survive.
We'll survive.
And so, yeah, it does buffers and harpoon entries as of this point.
Yep.
And so the kind of third entry point here would be ripgrep results, so that I can get find files and I can see all the other entries here. I also didn't quite get colors working yet for some reason.
We have the icons working. I remember we got that working.
So icons, they're not color coded, which would be nice.
Right.
But the displayer, we're able to do a little type if else if logic to make some distinctions between them. And you can see I already have some additional. I think this is what we called Smart Goto Finder, might have been the thing we called, or maybe we named it.
I feel like we named, like we had a separate like debugging thing we were doing where we named the function and then we called the function at the end. I think we just called it. I don't think we returned it.
Right. Well, I do have a debugger.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to remember if we just run this guy, and maybe I want to set a breakpoint there.
I struggled so hard getting a debugger working, like with Ruby the other day. Finally got it working.
It's one of those things that like VS Code has done a pretty good job at making obvious for the most part. And with this sort of system, it's just trickier.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pieces. Like you have to have the actual protocol, if you will, and then the things that plug into it.
Right.
Oh, does it pop up when you run it like that? Boo. Are we stuck?
Yeah.
Come on, debugger. Why?
What we also did last time, I think, was we just ran it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Well, that is what it is. Yeah, I'll kill the UI. We'll get rid of that. And we can print, and we can, let's see, we just got to decide what we want to work on now.
Yeah.
It may be useful to, honestly, to try to get that error message to go away. This may be another kind of awkward, unsexy stream of us trying to figure out how these tools work, which can be fun to definitely get better at and figure out. We had some really helpful people in chat last time we were together that were giving some good pointers. And I've even thought of reaching out to TJ and be like, hey, TJ, would you want to sit with me and do this? Because he streams a lot.
Yeah, right. He's the guru.
And he helped kind of write this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he may have some huge pointers here on how to do things more efficiently.
Yeah, if he doesn't, if he can't tell us how to do Telescope plugins, we're in trouble.
Yeah, so I just have to put a feeler out there and see if he reads my DMs.
Yeah, we could try to. I think you need to change line 154 before you.
Oh, I can turn that off.
Close. 162. Math is hard. Well, I think you want to keep that. I think you want to keep that without the return. Oh,
you can set debugs directly, and then you can print.
That's cool. There you go.
So I could source it.
Yeah.
And then just call it.
Yeah.
But here they're saying, yeah, that could work. So you're saying this isn't supposed to be like this?
It's close. Just kill the return on the front. Kill the return on the front and then call it with parentheses on the end.
Oh, right. We're just calling it.
Yeah, you got it. And now you can do the source. Yep.
Oh, wait. Source.
I think it's %. Yeah. And so I just learned this. So the way...
Look at my buffers. So these are non-file buffers, and that's the next bug or the next piece of it.
Oh.
So all buffers are buffers. It doesn't...
Right.
Code doesn't really care. about the differentiating those things. And so I'm thinking that I could just do a little Western magic here and check this out. So if I want to send multiple actions, we could decide that Command R seems reasonable. We'll source that. I like it. So I can hit Command R. I don't know if you nerds will find this distracting. Some of you guys like this.
You nerds.
I can put my keystrokes here for those that are like, what is he doing? Okay. So now I can call this over and over as much as I want. I can print things as I want. What do you want to do? What do you want to work on?
Yeah, let's
I think I originally
rip grep stuff, or do you want to work on issues?
We have unexpected error. We have options. We have documenting debugging is meant to be here. Adding find files entries, adding GIF diff entries. I did realize at some point I had rip grep working or the find files or whatever, and like there was a slight delay where it was like it wasn't instantaneous. It took a moment to like pull everything in, and then at least for larger projects. So there's some sort of magic, I think, going on in the built-ins. Built-ins. So something to think about for sure.
Yeah, what do you like the way that they're using rip grep is optimized, or
oh, that's not right. Find files. Yeah, remember all this? I think we explored some of this.
We did.
It looks through the commands and decides what command needs to be ran based off of what gets looked at. And then it does a table insert. And it like scaffolds the command. And then when it's done, it uses the file preview and this one-shot job, new one-shot job, which I've never taken a close look at.
Yeah, same.
It's a command list to execute. So you can give it a list, takes the list, turns it into a command, executes it,
and
injects it through the finder. So it's one of those things that, like, if I source this file, it's not going to run anything.
Right. If you changed it to where it would call that one function, I think you could make it do the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe I'll just source it and then run it.
Yeah. I'm looking for a way to reload. So like whenever you do the source, it's going to load it. Like Lou is going to load it, but it's not going to reload it a second time. So you can essentially set that table to nil and then run source again. I think that's how you can force it to reload every time.
Right.
I was looking for a less verbose way than just setting whatever that table entry is to nil.
Right. We got West terms. We got Vim notify. Vim notify might be the one I was looking for now. Takes a message. Right. Concat. Yeah, it's just fd-h. I use Lua for a lot of config stuff. So Ken's asking a decent question. Like, do we use Lua for other things? I do. I use it for WesTerm. I've done some Hammerspoon work with it. I even downloaded a game once, which we might have talked about on stream. I can't remember, but there's a game engine that's written in Lua was kind of interesting to explore. I didn't do any concrete development though on that project. I just sort of have been exploring what's possible with Lua.
Yeah, I've done mostly Neovim, written a Telescope extension, and then trying to get a better idea of how to write plugins, because I have lofty goals of replacing some Postman workflows with some nice plugins. I've never written a game. I think Roblox uses Lua.
Oh, do they? Right?
I think so. So certainly we're just preparing ourselves to be Roblox developers, and that's
Let's go. I hear they make good money.
I think
at least some of the crazy ones. Yeah, Mark's asking if Minecraft is. I thought Minecraft was Java, but maybe they have some Lua stuff now. I'm not sure.
I know the original game was Java, but I don't know. After like Mojang took it over, I don't know if it's different. Especially, it might have been Roblox you're thinking of, Mark. Yeah, I've never done anything in Roblox, but I think it'd be fun, especially digging into more of the Lua.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. I have it on my list to do some Hammerspoon stuff. I haven't done any. How is the Hammerspoon stuff that you've done, Josh?
It's really straightforward. They have a good pattern, and it's all basic kind of stuff. Like, I want to override keyboards. I can virtualize keyboard mappings and things like that is what I was doing with it. So some basic function, what do I call it? Like creating functions on functions to like become efficient in the code and do some really simple things. And then I could repeat the process, which I'm actually doing it with WesTerm. Like, get random entry, get wallpaper. Let's see. I can perform actions. I can call multiple actions based off of prefix. So this is like a prefix thing. Control B and then another key, right? And then when I go and look at the references to this, it's like prefix G will run, command G will run prefix G. So that's kind of the mapping here. So
yeah,
command K will run prefix capital T, which is of course the session manager. So it's interesting. For sure, it's interesting. Ooh, look, I got a.
Ooh, now you got.
Oh, because we dropped the return. So there's the module's not getting anything.
Right. We might look at Lua file, using Lua file instead of source.
Okay.
That might reload it every time. The other way is we could set that table entry to be nil and then source it again. So we just have to figure out where it is in the table. It's probably somewhere under the Telescope table, would be my guess. Not 100% sure.
Right. Well, and so my question now is like on the buffer entries. You said Vim inspect.
Yeah.
Is something worth running.
Yep. So
and where does Vim inspect dump it?
It does not. So you'll have to wrap that in a print. So you do print and then inside is Vim inspect.
Oh, it's yeah, got it. So So the real question I have now is I have names. If I wanted to look and figure out, these are, oh yeah, there's a lot here. I remember it being a pretty hefty thing. So like this was DAP related stuff. So
Oh, interesting.
I'm curious if like buffers that are files have specific tricks to them.
Yeah, like is there a I don't know if you
Identifier of some kind.
Yeah, I was gonna say a type, but
Buff number, changed tick, hidden. It is hidden.
But all the ones that you aren't focused on would also be hidden.
Sure. What I would expect, is this a Boolean value? That's a question, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd expect it to be either 1 or 0.
Right.
Go chat Jippity.
This is going to be a mess. I don't know if it's going to make any sense of that.
Oh.
The name attribute is a valid path file in your system, then it represents file. But yeah, you can't go out of your way to check every single one.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. That would be madness.
Yeah,
Buffer preview captures the defaulter, looks at some previews. Is there any code here?
And maybe that's why they do a. Well, we're trying to show buffers, right? Not files.
I want in the code for now, I would want this to only show file buffers, not non-file buffers, which is showing up here.
Right.
And that's a bit of a pain to be like, oh yeah, here are all the buffers you've ever created. And it's like, well, no.
I mean, we could start with the terrible solution. There's got to be a way to check if it's a file or something.
Buff name does not equal file path. So they're doing
file path.
File maker. File path gets passed in. File path, when does this get called? This is the file maker.
Universal way of reading a file into a buffer previewer.
Okay. Buffer previewer. It's not it. Is there like anything useful in the outline? Get buffer by name. So they're saying file readable.
Okay. All right. Bets on if that's real.
From entry. Yeah, that's if it's not hallucinating, but
right.
Validate, the validation happens. It is doing some sort of path checking. So that's what they're doing here. Well, they're just doing a path. Entry path equals we need to expand file readable and is directory. So there's some work to be done here. Expanding an escape sequence. Well, there you go. That's one piece of it. Like I already saw that there were brackets.
Right.
So maybe it's like brackets are make it unsafe. And then if file readable or is directory, then return. So can we reuse this? This is nice. A telescope from entry and from entry's return. So I don't see why not.
Yeah.
But you need an entry, a validate, and an escape. Do you have to include all of those?
Validate seems, well.
Oh, you can overload it by saying don't validate. Only 0 if neither this nor that.
Yep.
And then the escape sequence is literally just something that's also being validated. So from entry. So there's some sort of from entry. Oh, got ahead of myself. From entry. I'm getting tired of this. Maybe you can give me some tips. Copilot wants to be before the LSP. And so sometimes Copilot comes in late and gives me a bad entry. And it shows up before my LSP. And so I get these false positives. Harpoon marks. Here's the filter. Here's the buffers. If no buffers, I'm doing that. Options sort by most recent use.
You could reorder
and
the
then
entries and put
on the
Copilot on the bottom.
buffer. Yeah, I guess I could do a manual change. Okay. The buff entry file name, insert. So if from entry, buffer entry. And then what does that actually return? It returns a value. All right. So if we do some sort of and on that.
Not equal to empty.
Then insert it.
Yeah. Yeah, like do you want to say like from entry not equal empty string? Or maybe what's truthy in or falsy in Lua? I think it's nil and false. So 0 would
be this should 1. Invert it. This is a simple falsy assertion or truthy assertion.
Okay.
I believe. We can also do the good old variable.
Yep, I like it. I like it.
That should work for now.
And then we use that value.
Yeah, but I still
technically have to
get some sort of error.
The
picker, while creating the chunk, expected a closing on 73. Oh. Did I?
Oh, yep. There it is. Oh.
Yeah.
From entry. Does it not know where from entry comes from?
from entry. Unknown. So that's no good.
Meh.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Just because I called it here doesn't mean it's been exported.
Right.
So who from entry? That's what I'm doing. It's on an init. It's still an unknown. You see how these return?
Mm-hmm.
So is it like a util? Nope. This is something we faced last time, where we're like, hey, I see that this is here, but I don't think it can be used outside of the plugin code, which is fine. You can have private and public entries for sure, like in your module resolution and all that. But the question now is, so it's another from entry. So that's another. Oh, it actually returns. I think it returns the name.
The name of the path
of the path. From entry dot path, and then you pass the entry name, and then you give it potential flags in order to get a certain output.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
That makes sense.
So but I don't know if this is still just unknown because it can't make sense of it. Okay, so we're not allowed to do that. I could just
pull that code in
for now. I hate having to do this, but we'll just see if that's the proof of concept we need.
Yeah. Got to start somewhere and then figure out. TJ can tell us what our problem is.
Nice.
If you say it, he will come.
Nice. Well, our buffers are still there.
Sweet.
But I think the idea is that there's certain flags we can pass on the function itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go back, oh, that's the wrong project. If we go is from entry. Am I getting entry results? No. I want this to print.
Right.
And I want to insert these false.
Oh.
That's the right direction, I guess.
Is it saying it needs more arguments?
From entry path. That's what we changed earlier. Okay. From entry not found, and that's because I have to do Smart Goto from entry. And at least that gives me a better response. Picker from entry 8 require. This should be how it works, right? This is the local project.
Yeah.
And it's in the Smart Goto folder.
Yep.
Do I have to call it twice?
Oh,
Have we called it in other projects yet?
I don't think we have. Yeah, the dot should be like each of the folders or file.
Yeah.
Are you thinking you're just gonna plop it into that same file?
Yeah.
Yep.
One day I'll get better at this. So I don't need to return it. I don't need to call it. And it's gonna source nil.
What? Where's our buffer? Then you go into the picker. Hey, well.
And none of the results came through.
Get some errors though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Expected a string. Got a function.
Oh.
Stack trace callback on the validation of the mappings.
Expected string function. That's in. Was that in? Was it 160? No.
Yeah. So now the question is like, our from entry. How do people call it? They return the new path new from entry path, normalizing it. Here's a get buffer by name, and it does a from entry path with the entry of false, and that returns the buffer name.
Yep.
And then buffer name gets used. Does this get used? This is on a man. Interesting. That's on a new buffer previewer. So then that leaves us with, if we go back to the project and we go back to the get diff, I don't know if this is causing any issues. This returns the path. So maybe we like do a simpler assertion.
Yeah.
And then I might just do a simple like path from entry. And then path from entry, and we'll just say path from entry.
Yep. Okay.
And look at all those. Crazy.
Whoa.
Now we got a whole bunch of them. And these are from...
Yeah, how many do you have?
These are like historical.
Huh.
Those look like they're things that aren't even open buffers anymore. I think the same error shows up. Clearly, it doesn't even like allow this.
Right. Buffer entry file name.
So, I mean, all I can think of is yeah, so those are all the
All the buffer names.
Potential, but these other ones are from different projects. So why would it be stored as a generic buffer? Like these are from the project. These are like recent files from my work project. Astrovim is a project I recently opened. But in the Astrovim project,
Yeah, do you have buffers?
Vim isn't running. Even if it was, it would be a separate Vim instance. So something about this stores files you've recently used.
Interesting. I wonder if there's a way to constrain it to only current buffers somehow.
Well, and some of these are empty strings, which we've already talked about, like that being part of the filter. And then these are on top of the file. So
Right.
all of these buffers live as an extension on here. It's super interesting trying to get a sense of what this is and how it works, though, because we called a specific function up here. Remember from our last time together, we did some sort of in-vim list buffs.
Yeah.
And this gets all of the buffer names. And then we took all of the buffer numbers. And then what did we do with them? We got the buffer info based off of the buff number. And that's what gave us this buffer info. And that's the thing we loop through on these entries.
So maybe we need to use something.
So there's like
more.
Yeah.
Buffers.
Probably just read the docs. Weren't we given that advice last time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were.
Yeah, see the criteria. That would be helpful.
Yeah. Without an argument, information about all buffers is returned.
List only listed buffer, include only loaded buffers, include only modified buffers. Otherwise, it returns info for buff name.
What do you think listed buffers are? Include only listed
like
buffers.
Buff listed, yeah.
So maybe we only want to do buff loaded?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that the argument you can pass into the function?
Yeah, I think you do.
Buff info, buff listed.
So you'd say buff loaded 1, something like that?
Well, I don't want get buff info. I want the previous step, don't I?
Yeah.
Like we probably got to start up here. Gets the current buffer handles, includes unlisted buffers like that.
Oh, and then you can check if it's loaded.
Get information about all open channels.
So we could get all of them and then run that other one that's 5 up. It says invin buff is loaded to check if it's loaded.
Got it. So it's storing buffers in like a cache layer or something.
Yeah.
Do we do this anywhere else? No. Well, this is going to be done.
Yeah, can you
Here?
Can you do an help on that function? That invim buff is loaded. See if you can get the help doc on that one. Because we saw from the other one you can call that, but I don't know what it takes or anything.
Yeah. I think that's it.
You just pass in the buff number.
Yeah, so we get all these truthies. So true, 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 false, true, false, false, true, true, false. Yeah, see, like the ones that aren't loaded are false. Some of the empty ones are true. The
Those are
DAP
always
one is
loaded.
still true.
Okay.
The files are true. This one seems to be false. So we could definitely be like, is there a place in which we skip? When we did our statement down here, I'll let the dogs out. There they go.
Hello.
Oh yeah, so we don't insert it if it doesn't show up.
Right.
So it's one of those things now that like, maybe I'll just reset that. Do I want to reset all that? So now it becomes one of those like,
Yeah, I'm trying to look at
and so we do potential table inserts.
Yep.
We did the string matching where it's like if it's a percentage or something on the flag, and then on the index it matches on. Yeah, okay, so maybe this whole sort last used is one piece of it, but if we go step by step through this, we can just call like,
yeah.
It like auto detects one of my results for some reason.
Oh, weird.
Oh, now it. Okay, so it's just dying.
Can't find file finder.
Yeah, it keeps trying to like automatically pick another file even though I'm not choosing it.
Oh, weird.
Like it's auto choosing the first result, which I guess I could just say that picker is the first entry. Oh, it's still doing it. Interesting. Yeah, it's to see how it's like auto selecting.
Yeah, it like flashes open for a second and then chooses the first one.
So that's, well, now I even got rid of
that check.
That check. This is on a for loop to skip for. Can I just do like a return or a continue?
Yeah, you can do continue. Oh.
Is it like this?
Oh, it jumps to. Wow. I would not have guessed that. Yeah.
And continue. It's a label.
Go to continue. Yeah, and then you put the label at the very bottom, I guess. Huh.
Weird. I've never done this.
Yeah. First time go to.
Oh, you're saying go to. Yeah, that makes sense. If it's not loaded, then go to continue.
Yeah.
It goes to continue and then it starts over.
Right.
But, you know, of course we're going to get an error. Unexpected symbol near. Oh, I can't invert it. If equals false. Can I do a double insertion? Yeah. So some of these aren't here.
Right.
we're still getting a lot of entries here. I still can't see the results.
Yeah, I think that's just a display issue.
There's probably like a break, yeah.
We could filter out the empty strings as well. Just cut those out. But then we still have to solve for the DAP stuff being in there. It's so weird.
Nope, it doesn't. It's like, nope, that's how you do it. Okay. I'm sure I'll learn a lot more about this.
It would never. Yeah, I hear you're brainless. Lewis should have break statements.
Yeah, it seems silly that you have to create this pattern. So this might have not gotten us very far. Well, and there's more to be said here. Cannot assign an empty string to a parameter.
What?
I don't remember why we did this, but now my LSP's like, hey, what is this for?
I want to say maybe we were trying to get rid of empty buffers.
Which we were doing down here with this does not equal empty.
Right.
And then this is a file readable function. So I wonder if that's a built-in. Undefined global. Vim script. There you go.
There we go.
So rather than that, maybe we say that.
Yeah. It's got to be readable, which somehow empty string is. Buff entry file name. Yeah. And we're inserting into the table a buffer entry. Yeah.
Although we have additional inserts here.
We do.
So maybe we've been kind of thrown on the deep end by looking at a thing that isn't being read. Is file readable? Oh, wrong button. So we're getting some ones and zeros. So we would say is file readable equals 1. And file name entry. I'm wondering if the print statements throw off the system being able to process the inspect line.
Interesting.
Look at that.
Hey, that's a short list.
From entry. That's the stable file we had open. I think we did it, chat. Let's go. That's a win for now. Yeah, I mean that's the bug fix right there. So we're gonna just go ahead and call this buffer. Actually, let's just call this stream. What is today?
November 1st. Yeah, we're in November, everybody.
I'm just gonna go ahead and call this a stream. We're not using that. We ended up not using that.
Right.
So by the way, I think I've talked about this before, but I have space G, and there's all these useful things I can do, like reset hunk. So if I hit space GX, the whole hunk goes away. If I hit the arrow key and G, which you can see down here, it tells you, I can jump to areas of the code that have changed, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
Let's see if this was what caused.
Is that through
these
get signs?
Yes. So this is definitely the part of the culprit.
Yep.
See how all of these ended up.
Yep. So we can kill that, and then we don't need the index either. Yeah, we were double inserting into our table because, yeah, we were doing the last used. So we were trying to be intelligent about grabbing the last used ones.
I think for now, for the sake of Smart Goto, I am okay with saying I only want the buffers that are files, I think. Because this is all file driven. So far as I've designed it. So now it becomes one of those things that, is it worth putting that in more than one place?
Nah.
Okay, so the buff is loaded thing didn't seem to do much.
We will have to roll back the function thing at the end.
Yeah, I'll just make sure not to commit that.
Yep.
This is unused.
Yep, because we killed the index thing.
What is this saying? Annotation specific. At least one return value is required. Found 0 is returned here instead.
You could return nil.
So
I think.
Well, I'm expecting it to return that. So can I say...
Can you return an empty array?
It's a pipe, probably. We're just saying this might not return something. And then... What am I using flag for?
Where are you looking?
Did this end up getting used? I don't think this got used. So we're going to just simplify that down a little bit here. Wondering if I need some gaps here. This isn't version control, so I guess I'll just play around with that. I don't need to do the continue anymore. I think I got rid of that altogether.
Sweet.
Because this isn't really what drove that feature.
Right, we used the file readable instead.
We just said, hey, check the file's readable.
I like that.
And there's a file name, and the file name isn't an empty string. Can I do...
What's the difference between checking for a file name and then checking that it's not empty string?
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
The additional checks aren't needed according to this.
Okay, cool.
But that gives me other projects. Oh, interesting. That stuff I removed earlier.
Maybe we do need the buff
is
loaded.
Useful. Interesting. So now we're going to say if buff loaded.
You could try.
Can I do or buff entry comes later. Okay, I guess I'll keep the order. I was just thinking I can consolidate all this logic and just do less.
Right. No, I like
So
I
the
like
combination of is it loaded and is it a readable file?
and we should be able to kill
Then
the two
it
buff
shows
entry
up
things,
here.
right? On 68, 69.
69. Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, that seems to be better. Better. Okay. How do you feel about where do you put line breaks and when do you find them useful?
I put them between logical blocks. So like,
Yeah,
so I like if
I might
something
even do that.
feels like it should be clumped together, like, all right, here's the logic for that. Continue and bucket those together, and then buffer info is used by buffer entry. So like I'd probably group 56 through 66 together, and then probably put a break between that and the continue. I like
Brainless was being helpful and gave
Ooh,
us oh, I gotta get rid of that. Gave us a Lua
Oh,
docs.
yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
version of Lua is being triggered by.
That's a good question.
Then break end.
Okay, we could try that.
Yeah, I don't mind a little
Then
improvement.
we could get rid of the continue go to, which anyone would be like, what? I don't think you need the end. We already have an end. Yeah. I think probably yep. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
label.
but then my stuff goes away.
Interesting. Why does it go away? Oh, probably because it doesn't continue looping. Continue just skips and it keeps looping. Break is going to exit the loop.
Yeah, break is usually something different. Or depending on the language. I think you're right. I think the assertion you just made is right.
Cool.
I don't know if you're a fan of guards. This is something I like talking about with less seniored people. I know you're a plenty seniored person. It's one of those things that it's like, this is only slightly different, but it has some implementation details where you say, I'm going to work my way through, and when certain logic is met that is not what I want, you break instead of you guard your code rather than nesting all of your logic.
Right.
So this is like the happy path. We get to table insert when everything else above it is valid and what we want.
I like it. I prefer guards personally.
What is file name? File name is this.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to do this.
Yep. I like that.
This doesn't need to actually happen until later. We don't need to create the entry until
right before we insert. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm just going to reduce the code here. And I do sort of like stacking variables with logic. And so the question now is, what was the point of that? This is needed. And this is our guard. And yeah, so this is a little bit less code. And it's slightly more straightforward to read, I'd say. And then I guess this is a little bit different. We create the buffers and then we do all this work and then we add it in later. I forget why we dealt with that. That's interesting.
There's the width. Oh.
Buff number width.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Little squishy bug.
And then I'll do a little this sometimes. So that's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. The filter never got used.
Yeah, I think we killed that.
We got rid of all of our
Was
potential bugs.
Filter wasn't part of the thing we just commented, was it?
No.
Okay, cool.
It was not being used.
Okay. If you run it now, it still works? Yeah. Money. Look at it. What about do you have harpoon things still?
Yeah, so that's the question. So now we go we have the harpoon entry of picker.
Yep.
And picker shows up here as a harpoon entry. So yeah.
Hey, and it doesn't show up in the other section.
It doesn't. And this is the harpoon file.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, we could add to harpoon. We could close that. And there you go, 2.
Love it.
So now we get smart and we fix. I'll actually show you guys this one I have. Oh, it opens because we return it. So right. I can't commit the whole thing like you said.
Yep.
We return it.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, note on comment this out for debugging.
Yep.
Run source.
Yep.
Something like that. Tread with caution.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
So check this out. I have feature. And then we're going to say fix only show buffers that are open files.
Love it.
And we'll just push this.
Chip it.
Interesting. I don't think it's going to work that way.
Yeah, because it has to do SSH. Password was deprecated.
So that's the fun part of what I was just talking about, wasn't it? We were just discussing how this needs to be that. Yep. And then in my get remote origin, get remote add origin.
Is that a fish shell thing to do parentheses and then a command?
It's just an evaluation. So for those that are most used to Bash, you do this to evaluate code, and in fish, it's invalid. You have to remove the $. And now, if I remote paste, this becomes a very helpful thing in my history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that helpful to have pasted this value in my history and then it's no use. So that's a quick little tip for anyone who wants to reuse history more effectively.
I like it. It's thinking ahead.
Yeah, it's just a way of. I've spent a lot of time leveraging history. This is my history. I want to use it, reuse it, and use it as much as possible. Okay, so if I were to quit Vim and reopen it.
Yeah, you should push this up and I can
Smart Goto doesn't have any results. Harpoon, well, we wiped Harpoon. I do per branch and I kind of reset everything. So now if I do picker, let's just go ahead and get out of the way here and telescope extensions Harpoon. I don't think we're using that, are we? Harpoon itself is being used. We get Harpoon results here.
Right.
So I'm thinking we start with that being gone, and then
Yeah, what are we still using out of? I feel like we get rid of that one.
so Smart Goto lives here and defines the picker, and the picker is required and goes to the code, and that defines the registration. Yeah, so that's it. So we will chore remove unused code.
Love it.
Okay. Now I know we were discussing like maybe we split this stuff up and maybe we call it in a different way, and so we can definitely continue that work, but I think it's important that if you want to mark stream 2023, or we could just I can't remember, are you X?
Yeah. Maybe. Nope.
This guy, right?
Yep, that should be me.
I'm just gonna, for now, just say, because we've been going, what, 90 minutes? Even though we spent a bit of time just kind of working our way through how things were.
Seeing the errors on my screen.
I would totally be open to, I'm gonna do a squash merge here.
I'm a super fan of a rebase merge, but
Oh, I guess I could rebase merge. I don't do that much.
if you like having the finer grained commits, depends on how you want it to
So
look.
if I do this, it will just put these commits on it, right?
Yes,
I like it.
I personally.
But it has to re-sign these commits, right? Well,
Yes,
I'm going to
you
check
get-
out main anyway. It's fine.
Right. So like if you, so whenever you pull, you want to do a git pull rebase. But yeah, so some people don't do the rebase if they care about the SHA. Like if you care about the original commit SHA.
I don't care about these SHAs, but I'm going to preserve the commits.
Yeah.
All right. So you can update your projects. Just go into lazy and say, give me the latest code, and we're going to see if yours blows up. If you want to reshare your screen, you can, or just give us some progress.
Let me see real quick.
There you go. Look at that. 166 lines gone. I like seeing that early in on the project.
Hold that down real quick.
Sweet. The rip grep stuff would be nice to have next, because I can't really find this easy to reach for when only open files and Harpoon results show up. We had worked on it some, and I don't know why I lost my work. Maybe I didn't have it properly attached with lazy, and I may take some advice from people.
Yeah, I still get that Lua number error.
You're still getting the same error.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into that.
Okay.
Do you have anything that sets like the window size or width or anything?
Yeah, the thing I sent you, but you ended up putting all that in your config.
Yeah.
So, don't know what it is.
All right, I'll have to dig into that.
I guess dot files, telescope. I got lots of things going on, but this felt like it was perhaps related. Path display smart could be one of them, but in my mind, I do some stuff where I customize the sizing of things.
Yeah, what is that? What file is this? This
This is
is
Telescope,
okay.
but none of these are called, right? So that's not directly tied. And then this extension doesn't seem to be related.
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
But I do. Oh, look, I'm getting a
You pulled the latest.
telescope error now. Oh, maybe I need to reopen it. Yeah, I pulled code manually and not through Lua, not through Lazy. So I'm pretty sure all my currently opened Neovim instances are going to freak out on me.
They're like, what are you doing?
There's no more code there. I resolved this earlier, and now I can't resolve it. What did you do?
Yeah, I put this in my tables.
Sorry
What
about
happened?
that. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, these were the things I saw that
Mhm.
are potentials.
Yeah, I grabbed those from you. Layout config.
But why would that matter?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what's the important question. And I'm down to fix num when num bug.
Buh.
So we've got the issue here, and this is probably the same. So
Yes, this is the
AstroVim
same.
is trying to load a command, and on the picker, my picker on 145, which now will have changed,
Yeah.
it does an entry maker and it gets pretty file path. So that's my guess, is that the smart,
Yeah, because we do. Yep.
I can't do this if you don't have the proper thing. That's probably it.
Yeah.
So just go to Telescope and go to Path Display and add Smart for now, and that should fix it. And if anyone on chat, there's a few people still hanging out with us, appreciate it. If you feel like downloading this project, you can definitely give it a try and let me see how it goes, which means that I want, why does it keep doing that? I keep copying, it gives me the last page I was on. That just happened earlier. Okay, so that's the project. You're welcome to try. Warning alpha, you know. I bet that's actually it. I would be very curious if I got rid of this and I opened up the project. No, I can still see it.
That was it. Change it to
Play
smart.
Config. That still works as well. What would cause? I mean, I could literally just turn all of it off. Turn all that off. Turn all that off. And it still works. So I don't know. I don't know. Now I don't have any custom telescope code.
The path setting it to smart worked for me.
It did work for you? That makes sense. Maybe if I overwrite path display to a different value, it would change. Maybe there's some simple caching done on the telescope configure. That's my best guess. Okay. Well then, we're just gonna go ahead and.
I set that to truncate, then it breaks, which is what I had before.
Got it.
Angry. Interesting. Very interesting. Yup. Yeah, so it's the pretty.
There's a bunch of them, right? You're already kind of looking into it. Path display.
I haven't looked into it that much, but yeah, like there's a couple of them. I use truncate because I want to see. I usually don't care about the front of it, like the full path. I care more about the file name.
Well, someone on the Discord server, on my Discord server, was talking about like a VS Code solution where the file name is first and the path to the file shows up afterwards, kind of like VS Code does it.
Oh, okay.
And that was a cool idea for sure.
That is a cool idea.
But maybe there's a point in which I don't even tell it how to render. Maybe people can define that on their own through path display.
Yeah.
So there's probably a better way to do this rather than this.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just some sort of give me the path. Don't do all of this. Just like let someone's default settings decide how to do it. But I'm pretty sure this util ops, where does ops come from?
That's probably
from here. And so I thought that I would have expected it to go through the function.
Yeah.
Maybe the finder needs ops.
Oh, maybe.
I was not thinking I did something wrong on my end. I think I just missed something important, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this code is okay because the transform path is being passed through the utils and I'm giving it ops. So that's my guess, is that that's important.
I mean, you could try it right now. Set your stuff to truncate instead of smart. See if it breaks.
I also don't like that this entry is being redefined. It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Like, how is that determining it?
Yeah, we can rename it.
Okay. So you said go to dot files. What'd you say? Truncate?
Truncate.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Attempted trace.
But are you loading it from this file?
No, I'm just calling it.
Okay. So we replicated it. So we could
attempting to index field layout a null value. Mine is a different error than yours.
It's a different error.
But it's telling me that ops is being passed in, I think. Because here, this was empty.
But how would it be?
No, it wasn't empty there. It was empty here.
Yeah, in the finder.
So when I did this, oh, that seems to like be okay. But when I pick a file, yeah.
Layout.
So it's not even accepting options. This definitely needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a thought though, like how does this get overloaded? Not overloaded. See how we're like reusing a variable?
Yeah.
is this like us overwriting the current variable on itself? I'm a functional programmer most of the time. This is definitely a red flag.
Yeah, this is definitely a Lua paradigm and like how it uses it. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's better, but I just get nervous with a new programming language. I also came from mostly JavaScript, which is just a mess when it comes to scope.
Yep.
You know.
Hoisting's fun.
This mapping, I don't know why that's still there. I'm sure we'll add it one day.
Yeah, I think that's too
silly to need an extra line.
Oh man, I forget what mapping is. I think that's to do keyboard shortcuts. Like if you wanted to do a thing with one of the files.
I think it wants layout. I need to perhaps... I don't think there's typing on this one. I like when they include types.
Right.
There's no types here. Because I have some other projects like... Who has types? Noise does. So you can give it a type definition.
Yeah.
And it knows what ops is, and it knows what presets are. See how these aren't listed, but it knows that they're valid.
Mm-hmm.
Same with views. So if I do like blah,
yeah, it'll give you an
error. Maybe not.
Oh,
it's Lua isn't a type first language. That's all I'll say for now. It's like
Lua's all tables.
It's an interesting thing that gets added. And is it layout? We got customizations, defaults, mappings, pickers, layout. Layout.
There we go.
Layout config is what it's called.
Mm.
So we're okay there. See help.
Layout config.
So layout strategy, layout config.
TJ would be proud we're using help docs.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So did I? Yep. So there's definitely some error when it's not smart.
Yep.
Maybe I'm calling something wrong in my code. Which at this point, I'm just sort of assuming that it's definitely my code that's bad. And it's something to do with this pretty file name. This double thing makes me nervous. Ops makes me a little nervous. Transform path comes from Telescope. This is in the change log.
Mm-hmm.
Transform path based on display paths found in options or the default value from config. Which means it's to be used in the entry maker for a uniform interface for built-ins.
Huzzah.
Which is the whole point and why I called it. Use the function outside of Telescope might yield undefined behavior. The options the user passes into the picker might contain the path display key.
Yep. Okay.
So, and then the path
could not.
So there's something about when I pass path display and I give it one that I don't want. Ooh, shorten is kind of fun. What is smart?
Right. Or truncate.
Why does smart work? Or truncate if it's not in the docs? Tell me these things, Andrew. How do either of those work?
I don't know.
Hey, what's up, Zero?
The docs never lie.
What's going on, Zero? That is so strange to me
Mhm.
that like they're not even mentioned.
Agreed.
But look, date July 7th, 2021. So maybe it got added and we just haven't seen it. I can also look for the word smart. Path smart. How does
There you go.
path smart get used? When path display is smart. We got
Mhm.
tail, we got absolute, we got all these guys. So then the question is, print vim inspect ops.
Yeah.
I guess.
See if it's getting in there.
Oh, I need an entry. All right. Entry maker function. Oh,
Well, that's different.
that's not what I would have expected.
Mm-mm.
Options is an entry maker. See, I would have expected it to be the options coming from Tailwind, not Tailwind, Telescope.
Right.
Too many things in my brain. So then this guy, go to definition, comes from Smart Goto Finder. And when we call Smart Goto Finder, we call it down here, right? Smart Goto Finder. We use these ops, and these ops come in and they take entry maker and they overload it. So this picker ops must not be receiving options.
We must not get anything. Maybe it's in our.
I think you're right. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Well,
where
I'm
we
trying to read your
define
mind, but the actual extension, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
This
like-
part.
Is there something missing here?
Yeah. Are we missing?
So if we go to, is it called plugins or extensions?
I think it's. That's a good question.
So like, we'll read a little code. You register it. That's just the basic registration. Yeah, that's right. And then in his picker, on the runner, there's options, and then he sets all the options and he overwrites things as they come through.
Mm-hmm. And then passes it into parse
new.
ops. Oh, never mind. That's a different thing. That's a different thing.
Okay, yeah, but then he just says picker new options. Did I actually call it there? Picker options, new options. Options comes from there. So now
Empty.
well, it's an empty. So there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how is that the case? What am I actually using? Does Telescope Harpoon still work? I feel like last time I tried to run this, it didn't work.
Oh, no.
Which might be the same reason. Dot files, Telescope. What else? I'm using Telescope, the undo one. There's all these ones.
Telescope.
Telescope is the Telescope one, or the Tailwind one.
Clever names.
But the thing I'm thinking about is like the import one. Import is like, it's not gonna give you a file. Like some of these I can't imagine even take over the default options.
Right. Yeah, I like where you're going with this. See if there's actually any options that are in there.
Boom.
Ooh. Yeah, so here's all the things.
So like,
and that goes into setup.
yeah. So like, We're just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Is there like, I'm not getting what I think I'm getting.
All right.
Options
I'm
come
surprised
from
we
there.
aren't getting that whole table.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You are correct. All right. So you have to call an argument, and it's not clear, and there's no helpful telescope harpoon marks. You are correct, sir. Look at that. You win. That is how it works. But it gives you that error, and the error is not clear. And I'm like, why did we not do? I think is tomorrow Prime going to be working on this? It's sometime soon. Prime is doing like this long stream where he's going to do all these quality of life improvements on Harpoon. So maybe he'll.
I think it's soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but see, like the output of this is fine. So let's go to like lazy Harpoon, and let's go to the telescope Harpoon marks, and we'll see that he's got picker new ops, and then he passes in ops. So print.
Yep.
Inspect ops. Oh, I might need a mark on this. Mark.
All right, telescope. Harpoon marks. Empty.
Wait, hold on. I think I need to restart it. Empty. So I don't know what's going on. I guess it is empty.
Okay.
But I thought that we were able to overwrite defaults. Maybe there's a different way to pull defaults. Maybe it's like a. But let's see. So if I do telescope marks, we see it that way. And if I say smart and I restart it, can I? It doesn't change the formatting.
Right.
So I guess that makes sense that the defaults aren't how to pass default. Let's see, like using defaults in extensions. Select default action. I'm not really sure what to look for.
Right.
But whatever I set, what I do know is that what some people do is you can overwrite stuff here. So there's probably some different way. My guess is that, but I still don't get why, if this is set to smart, that my code works, and if it's not set to smart, my code breaks.
Yeah.
So there's still something tying them together. So options doesn't get options. My guess is the transform path in the project actually has this options path display. Is options pulled any other way?
The ops the users pass into the picker.
Which I do pass values. Part of me really wants to just put smart on the options. And then later, if someone wants to overwrite it, we come up with a better way to overwrite it.
It's
You
not a
know,
bad.
you know what I mean?
interpretation.
It's like
Yeah.
if that's just the way it is, then I guess this isn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
And this gets so even this disable devicons, I guess, isn't going to work because there is no value coming from
Right.
anywhere.
It's not happening.
And this guy has options, and this guy has options, and it just doesn't. Path display
Smart. So weird. There's something that connects them. So it's so odd to me that.
But I really, really like the idea of all of the built-in options that drive all the built-in features. Like, I just want to use whatever values you've set for those. I don't need you to go out of your way to change those values.
Right.
Perhaps you could overwrite them in the
have
extension
a
section. Yeah, you could say like, hey, this Smart Goto plugin always uses the smart path, and then all my other built-ins don't. It's like, okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, like, more power to you. But that feels like super later on that you deal with that.
Agreed.
So, like, that's a future feature.
Future.
Future. It's hard to say.
See that 10 times fast.
Future. Well, so far this is a bit of a win, I guess. If Telescope, if I change this back to truncate,
yeah,
it's gonna go ahead and kill Tmux. I guess if
error. Whoa, couldn't find valid file name to mark.
Same. Oh, this is the layout thing again. So mine is something slightly different. When I change mine, I'm getting a different error than when you change yours.
All right.
But if I set this and I reopen it, it works. And it's a smart path. My only thought right now, and I don't think we'll go too much longer here tonight. Maybe we'll go like another 20 minutes or less, if that's all right with you. We were looking at the path. What was it called? I feel like I should be able to just get there. Here we go. Transform path. Based on path display, found in ops or the default value from config. So, what does this mean and where does it come from? Telescope config values path display.
Ooh. Okay.
So that comes up function table
and then smart. So it checks if it's a table type. And then
So the function, I believe you can call it your own way. That's how people overload it and give it custom looks. And so it will pass in the path display by calling it with your function. You can call it something by it being a function. We do this a lot with lazy Vim configs. It's like, this is like a table or it's a function. And if it's a function, then call the function.
Right.
And it's expecting a return type most likely.
Yep.
And then if it's utils this path hidden, it will do something specific. And then if it's a table, which is what we've been using, there's tail, there's smart, there's everything else. Everything else is treated by an absolute. and I'm guessing somewhere in here, current working directory.
Then it expands it.
Oh, Ritesh says he's got, I hope I said that right, but yeah, it looks like you've got something. I don't know if you share a URL, it's going to go through, bro. Just a heads up. So you might have to like type the repo name, but maybe I don't know if I have URLs turned on, just for my own safety, so people don't do anything crazy. All right, so this is all the L. Like, let's just like kind of glance at this. Okay, so it says like if it contains the word absolute, it does that. If it contains the word shorten, it does that. If it contains the word truncate, it does a calculation on the result length. Maybe this guy does some sort of get window width. That's it. So
that looks like it.
But why would that matter? Like, why would that throw on the code I wrote? Like, why would truncate not be supported? My only thought is, I mean, we're definitely onto something now.
Yes.
Smart Goto. So with this on the picker, we transform the path, and it throws here.
Yep.
And it throws here. There's no option we're passing. It ends up picking it up later on, and we looked at this code. It picks it up, and it then finds truncate, and then
tries to run through it and calc the result length.
If there's no
length,
if this comes up nil, so you probably can hard code it. Oh, is the smart true thing remainder? We wrote it in a way that this is probably remaining could be tied to it, where it's like I can't get the remaining because I don't know what the remaining is, because there's some piece of this that's missing from my logic. Probably my logic is, the assumption right now is that my code's probably bad. And if not, then it does. If there's no prefix, it passes that. And then it truncates. So the truncate function takes in the path, and it does all this magic with it.
Yep.
So then that just tells me remaining true might not work. So like, let's see if like remaining is mentioned. Remaining space. Remaining true. Oh, width, icon width might be something worth. Well, no, that shouldn't. That could be it, to be honest. So there may be something here where, like, rather than having remaining true and then injecting, because remember, I don't have color ring isn't working. And so my current thought has been the way in which I create the group, this highlight group, is meant to colorize it.
Yeah. And
we take 0, we take icon, we take highlight group, and we wrap it. I don't know if this is being honored, to be honest. It may just be returning this.
Yeah, I'd be curious if it's even getting in there.
Well, we are seeing icons.
That's true.
So the fact that this little icon's there tells me that it's probably calling this, but it's not calling the highlight group. And when we call truncate, it can't determine the width. Smart isn't even smart enough. I've been disappointed in Smart. It's been giving us long entries that don't fit the viewport. So there's some combination here that is creating this issue. For sure. There's just some sort of entry point here that's like throwing it off, which is good. I mean, to know like this all makes sense so far. We just don't know the how to fix it.
Right. Like the right
we're like, okay, I know the code more.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I know what's going on. Hey, thanks. You shared it. Okay, so this is the thing.
Oh yeah, Harpoon. Okay.
And we'll just give it a little look.
He apparently short-ended the path files. Okay.
But he did it within the extension code. There's the finder. The picker. Oh, the finder's probably what we want. Finder, table, filter,
Yeah,
empty
there's
string.
remaining
Take the
true.
file name, shorten it.
Oh yeah.
Take the displayer, create it. But he creates it based off of the line, and the line is supposed to show up down here in the make display on the displayer. And that should be how my code is. Make display displayer line. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing. And my displayer entry display create is up here, entry display create, and I have a separator. He has a separator, he has items, which I have items. So, I mean, we're looking at the same thing mostly. Even the icon, I generate the icon and pass it in on, where do I pass it? I think I pass it on down here.
On.
So there's these 3 entries, and the 3 entries are mapped to these 3 entries. So my only question is like, he's got width, 250 remainer true. So my thought right now,
We're doing
is-
something more involved with the get pretty file path versus just shortening it.
so on his displayer, he has the line item is set on a fixed width. See how mine isn't?
Yeah.
And see how that's what I was mentioning earlier of like, maybe I can't do that.
Well, wouldn't that be the width?
So like that and then remaining. So you map it 1, 2, 3, and on his displayer, he's got 1, 2, and then 3 is not mapped to the displayer. So that's fine. That's what he did, and maybe that's the issue. Let's just go back to my dot files. Let's go to Telescope. Let's go to truncate. Oh, and check this out, Andrew. I have this. What would be the quickest production? I have this little tool here, and I can call Smart and truncate. And I want to say these are toggleable, if that's a word. And so in Telescope, I can now hit Control A, and I can toggle them.
Was that WesTerm config? What was that?
No. It's a Neovim config. It's
okay.
called Bool.
Bool, okay.
Very cool little plugin. I think I might make a Vim, like a little video on this soon. I know you would love to make a video like this, but yeah, you can increment and decrement things. You can toggle between elements.
That's cool.
It's so helpful. I do it a lot with this production dev test where I want to change nodenv. I can toggle nodenv.
Yes.
Super helpful. Lets and consts, starts and ends, befores and afters, minuses and pluses. These are words that I've been using in my development cycle. And so I can just say, I want the opposite of this, please.
Do it.
So I can like copy and paste things.
Yeah. I already can think of like 3 different ones I use all the time. Let and const is in that mix.
I'm still getting this layout issue, so mine is unrelated. But there's a guess here that calc result. Oh, it still has to do with calculating the result length, though.
Yeah. Which is part of the truncate thing.
It's called calc result length. It gets the status off of the current buffer, and then it gets the window length based off of that status, and that status is returning nothing. it's giving me a layout not defined error.
Weird.
It's saying like, hey, attempting to index the field layout, and I'm not getting it. So this guy's crapping out on me.
Status layout. What are you expecting?
And it's
to be in
empty.
there?
It's
Okay.
empty. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I've never seen what get status does. It's a state on global state from the prompt buff number. So I'm guessing the telescope pop-up might be its own buffer, which could be how it's designed.
Yeah.
And that Vim pop-up is what generates that, perhaps. But either way, status is not coming out of anything useful. It's an empty object.
Oh, so interesting.
Oh, now I see something a lot more interesting. Yeah, see the message we get includes an empty
layout.
Empty layout. So there are some gaps here. For sure there's some gaps. I totally acknowledge that. This didn't work.
Yeah, I thought for sure that would work for us. I was like,
that
oh,
was
we'll
going
just set
to
path display.
overwrite it for now.
And we're
I also
passing it into the
thought-
finder still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also thought that adding the width would fix the truncation problem, but now I'm getting a layout issue. But I don't mention layout here, so it's some underlying utility logic under transform path that is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to dig into.
Yeah, so this is what's calling layout. It's definitely on truncate. So something about truncate is just not valid with the way in which I've written my plugin so far. But I did think that Smart was going to overwrite that, so I don't know why Smart isn't being overwritten. So it may not be as simple as I thought, of just like, hey, force this thing. Unless it's like defaults.
Oh, have it nested?
Maybe. But that's not how I read the code earlier.
Right, I thought I was just pulling it straight off.
It was like looking for that value directly. Up here, it was just like ops.path display.
Right.
And then if this is nil, then grab the path display value off of telescope config.
And how does
this
just
this is interesting, right? Like this I could overwrite by pulling this code in myself and doing this.
Right.
Outside of transform path, I guess. But that, I don't know why I'd have to do that.
I mean, that could be a different way to inject it for now.
Path display.
You do it in the right before you call transform path.
I mean, I guess. I know what you mean. You're like, hey, it's for some reason not going in there. So like I could overload this section of the code.
Yeah, overload that ops piece.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that could be better. But now I just have multiple ops things being passed.
Yeah,
around.
I mean, it's definitely not
So it's like, where is it supposed to go?
Long-term solution.
I'm just going to do this for now to do and support for path display truncates. Because this clearly doesn't work. Like truncate is the culprit. Oh, and I'm a JavaScript developer. All right. So that's that. The width thing, I don't know if that matters. It didn't seem to affect it.
No, I think that probably goes away.
And then the options are the same. I do think we need to pass options there because I'm guessing we can add a set of options. Let's just kind of quickly figure out if this will make me feel better at the end of our stream here. We'll do this and then we'll kind of do a little unwind.
Okay.
In the dot files under Telescope, my guess is that this is options. So if I do Smart Goto, and then I just say like path display equals smart, and we go back to my code and we print vim inspect picker options.
Yep.
Come on, you know you want to do it for me.
Yeah, it's right there. Come on. Undefined global.
I just want the local value.
Maybe save it and it'll...
Maybe there's some, yeah. Nope. Still coming back as nothing.
Boo.
It was a thought. I was like, maybe extension options gives
what
me...
makes you want to not put it like the other one? How it's wrapped in a...
oh, because I think it's just Lua can't escape dash separated values. I'm pretty sure that's all that was. But let's just for the sake of... Yeah, I don't think it's printing it.
Okay. Bummer.
But let's get rid of that. Something to think about. I definitely want to add options in the near future. I want you to be able to like define what things you want in the smart picker. Like if you're like, I don't like having buffers, then maybe you can like create a table, and that table like you can exclude buffers, and you can say I want harpoon and I want, you know, find files and in that order, please.
Yeah. You could even adjust the ordering or something.
Yeah, totally. But another good session. Thanks for hanging out. We had some people here. Toxic came back.
Woo!
Was hanging out with us at the end there. We had a good half a dozen people or so that were floating around for most of this. So I appreciate you guys being here. And this was fun, Andrew. I know we didn't like come up with the most mind-blowing new feature or anything, but it definitely feels like we made progress.
That's what software is, making little bits of progress. And I mean, like you said, neither one of us are seasoned Lua developers, so we're learning some of the ins and outs and kind of odd things that happen in Lua.
That's right.
In a much larger system, right? Telescope is huge, so trying to figure out how things are flowing in that system is a lot to get your mind around.
Totally. Well, cool. This is fun. I'll probably push those final changes. And I shared the repo, so if anyone else wants to download this and give it a try, or they want to fork it and they want to contribute, like, you know, I appreciate the help.
Do it.
And I'm sure me and Andrew will hang again. We don't have to do this Lua stuff. We could do something else next time. But this was fun. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you guys have a good night.
Awesome. Thanks.